Another question I got is regarding orchestration. Like, what is the role of the orchestrators for the music that you write? Well, the way that I write, and I would really advise to see some of the videos that I made in season 1. For instance, the writing of the theme of Fury Rosa. Or some of the videos for the season number 2, so you could actually see how I write for strings and brass. So the way that I have my template laid out is that I really write for strings and brass how it is going to end up on paper. So I write for the first violin, I write for the second violin, and I write for the viola, for the cello, and for the bass, and for all the brass instruments separately, and for the woodwinds instruments separately. If there's divisi, which is if there's an extra voice within the group, I have a separate track where that line appears. So it's very easy for the orchestrators that I work with to take these files and just immediately transcribe them to, they use Sibelius. There's a great Steinberg program coming up to do orchestration, so I'm really hoping that's going to really take root because it's interacting with Cubase really well, and a lot of orchestrators are very excited about that. But the way that I write in Cubase is more or less almost finished what goes on paper. Now this is going to change, and this happens sometimes where I write things on a patch just because I need to quickly do something, and I just quickly play something on a patch. In that case, the orchestrators need to decide what line is going to be played by which string element and how the voices are going to be divided. But that doesn't happen that much in my case. And I've never dealt with a scenario where I would just write a melody and I would hand it over to an orchestrator and say like, we'll just orchestrate something to this scene. So I've never dealt with that yet because my scores are slightly different in character. But orchestrators are of great value because they advise you about what would work really well and what wouldn't work really well. And I always listen to them, and then we try things on the spot, and then we can quickly change things around. So for instance, when we are recording, and I had a discussion with the orchestrators, I think we need so many string players to play this melody line. And then we try it, and then I turn around or I talk to the conductor and I say, I think it's light on the melody line. Can we move some more strings to the melody line? And then on the spot, the concert master, the first violinist, would then advise the other string players how the music is going to get redistributed to the other players. Usually we make sure we have extra copies of certain melody parts or accompany parts that are ready to go in case we need them for a certain string player or brass player or woodwind player. So that case you're very flexible during the recording to say, let's try this or let's try that. This also goes for articulations. So sometimes you write on a certain string patch, and for the orchestrator it's clear that it is normal strings or it's concertino, muted. Let's just stick with those two for now. And then you record it as it was programmed, and then you find, oh, maybe concertino is too much. Maybe we should try something else. So a couple of techniques that I've tried that worked really well is that everybody is playing muted strings except for the main players of each string group. So the first violinist, the first second violinist, the first violinist, the first cellist, and the first bass take the mutes off and they play normal. So you get a completely different color. Sometimes you would say half section is going to be muted, half section is going to be normal. So you can constantly play during the recording process with these techniques. And then you just constantly turn around and talk to the orchestrators. It's like, what do you think? Does it sound good to you? And it's like, oh yeah, this sounds great. Oh no, I wouldn't do that. So during the recording, I constantly talk to people to experiment and to try things. And then I ask them, it's like, you think this is better or not? Sometimes I'm 100% convinced myself that it is better and that's what we're going to do. And sometimes I'm not 100% sure if it actually is better or not, or if it's just me because I'm so used to hearing one sound, and now we try something different and it's fresh. And it's like, oh, that's great. So I constantly rely on the expertise of the orchestrators and the conductor to tell me whether I'm making a good choice or a bad choice. And that's how you learn. And sometimes I've made bad choices by saying, no, I'm overruling you guys, I'm going to use this. And then I was in the studio and I was like, damn, I should have listened to the guys and stuck with the original plan. So these guys are of great value. They've got fantastic ears. They know a lot about voicing and how to make things work better. And I listen to them a lot, and I've learned from them an awful lot. So I hope that answers that question.